If you felt great in your body, how would that change your life? How would it change your body? And how would it change your level of happiness? Women deserve to feel great in the skin they're in and to live a life they truly love. Now is the time to join the host of For the Health of It, Master Health Coach Juli Madacey.
Hey, and welcome to For the Health of It. I'm really excited that you're here with me today. I have got a great show for you because one of the big questions I get from people is, what the heck is a health coach? So I am a health coach. I am a master health coach, a certified holistic nutritionist, master herbalist, certified holistic health practitioner, certified personal trainer. In case you didn't notice, I really like certifications and education. It's a really important part of practicing anything in the health industry. So if you're interested in getting in touch with me, wondering what it is I do, listen to the show, and then you can reach out to me through the link in my host profile, or you can email me directly at julie@avexiahealth.com. That's JULI at EVEXIAHELTH.com. And let's get going here on the Inspired Choices Network because this is a great topic to talk about. So have you ever heard the saying, you don't know what you don't know? There's a good reason that exists. We walk around with certain beliefs about what it means to live a healthy life, but how do we know that those beliefs are really true? Where does that information come from? There are a lot of different dimensions of a healthy life. And unfortunately, most people think, oh, healthy living, I eat a healthy diet, I move really well, so therefore I am healthy. But that's only one small piece of what health really is. So there are a lot of other things that are crucial for deep health, and that's what health coaching is about. So today we're going to talk about the things that a health coach is and isn't, how to compare that with other kinds of coaches and other kinds of practitioners that you may be more familiar with, and talking about getting support in a more integrated and holistic way, because that's more of what health coaching is all about. So I'll start by asking you, what is your definition of health? How do you define that for yourself? Because a lot of people think that health is basically the absence of illness. But that's really not the case. Health is about living a vibrant, energetic, purposeful, meaningful life. And most people talk, again, about eating healthy food and exercising regularly, but a lot of people don't really even understand what healthy eating is, because it's not just one thing. And other people will gauge their health by the numbers in their blood work. And if you didn't know, the numbers in the blood work that you see, those healthy ranges, are determined to ensure that there is no serious disease present. And they don't measure your functional levels. They don't measure your vitality and your levels so that you can have a really healthy, vibrant life. They just measure basically the absence of disease. And it's frustrating for me to hear people say, my doctor said my blood work was normal. Normal is based on the averages that are sampled from blood work taken over a period of time, usually 12 to 18 months. And most of the people who are going to get that blood work done aren't going for health reasons. They're going because they're not healthy, because they're sick, because they have some kind of medical issue. And so those values may very well be based on unhealthy people. So when you go to see like a functional medicine doctor, someone else, those blood levels have a very different meaning. So deciding what health means to you is a really great first place to start. Now, when we talk about healthy living, people say, I eat well and I exercise and therefore I'm healthy. That really makes up about 16 to 20% of your overall health. There are 6 different dimensions that we look at in health coaching, and they include your relational health, your environmental health, your emotional health, your mental health, your existential health, and your physical health. So these all play together and they're all intertwined. And so when one area of your life is off balance, that's going to have a ripple effect into the other areas of your life. And one of the things I like to think about is people say time is our most precious resource. Once it's gone, it's gone. But I would argue the fact that time is limited, but I think health is your most precious resource, because when it's gone, you lose time. And even the time you have, the quality you have during the time is not really at the level that it could or should be. And so you end up risking losing time through illness or injury, or just a lower quality of life, or shortening the duration. And that's pretty serious stuff. So when we look at deep health, we look at feeling energetic and vibrant so we can do things we enjoy, feeling like we have a purpose and we can fulfill that purpose while we're here. The mental health aspect, being able to focus and problem solve. The emotional aspect is about being able to express your emotions in a healthy way, having high emotional intelligence, being able to feel the feelings and understand what they mean for you. And we'll go into those other areas a little bit more later, but let's start by talking about what a health coach isn't. A health coach is not a dietitian. Now, I know people get certifications in multiple areas, so I'm putting these into a silo for now. A registered dietitian is someone who goes to school and they are taught a kind of nutrition approach that basically says, like the doctors say, here's your medical condition and here's the kind of diet we think you should eat to help with that medical condition. It isn't necessarily about nutrition, and they don't necessarily take into account all of the other parts of your life. They're looking at you as a patient. This is the disease, and these are the foods we want you to eat. And in many cases, dietitians are prescribing fat-free, sugar-free, or low-fat or low-sugar foods for their patients, which doesn't enhance your health in any way. It may lower those lab numbers that you want to get down to a lower level, but it does nothing for your longevity. And when you work with a registered dietitian, they can help you with specific medical issues, and they usually work in conjunction with your doctor. But again, they don't take into account the other qualities of your life, the other aspects of your life that are really critical pieces for deep health. Then there is a nutritionist. Nutritionist is kind of a loosely used term. Registered dietitians are regulated by state and regional and sometimes national boards, where they have to take certified exams, where they have certain number of hours of practice they have to take. And nutritionists are not that regulated. There are some states that have nutrition certifications. I was lucky enough to get one of them, but in many cases, and this drove me really batty, because a couple of years ago, there was a company that popped up on social media that said, you can become a certified nutritionist with 20 hours and in 30 days. And I thought, that kind of time might help you understand the different kinds of vitamins there are, but it doesn't teach you anything about nutrition. And there were people going out and counseling clients on nutrition when they didn't have a good grasp of nutrition itself. Whenever you decide to work with a professional, whether it's a nutritionist, a registered dietitian, a health coach, a nutrition coach, anyone in this area, pay attention to where they studied, pay attention to their certifications, learn which certifications actually have meaning, because these days there's not a lot of regulation around it in most states. And so people can call themselves pretty much whatever they want. And you may be doing yourself a disservice, and you may actually be getting harmful information from someone who just doesn't have the education. They have good meaning, they want to help you, but they don't understand, they don't know what they don't know. So when you decide to work on your health, please pay attention to the practitioner. We go to the doctor and we assume that they have a medical degree. We assume that they have board certification. We assume a lot of things. But how many stories have you heard about people who were practicing something that they weren't actually licensed for or even educated for. So pay attention, because this is all about you and your health. So when it comes to health coaching, a health coach is someone who works with you from a holistic and integrated perspective. It's someone who will focus on all of those different areas of your life, because when you can get to a fundamental core problem and you can start resolving that problem, it will help carry over into the other areas of life that you may be struggling with. So, for example, if someone is struggling with their weight, it could be the underlying factor is that they are not in an environment that is conducive to having access to healthy food, or maybe they don't have the skills and knowledge about how to buy and prepare healthy food. Let's face it, how many adverts do you see in magazines, billboards, TV, radio, everywhere else that talks about healthy as a food stuff, but it's some processed crap that comes in a box, right? So healthy is going to mean different things, and a health coach will help you find what that means for you. A health coach may work with you if you have issues with stress management. That's a huge factor when it comes to not only managing a healthy weight, but also other health factors in your life. It could be related to high blood pressure. It could be related to hormone imbalances. Without taking into account all of these factors, it's hard to know exactly where to focus. So a health coach is going to be someone who we say is client-centered. They will not, like a registered dietitian will tell you, here's your diet plan, eat these foods, do these things. A health coach is going to be someone who sits down and says, let's talk about your biggest needs. Let's find out what skills you need in that area, and they will guide you along the way. They're your guide on the side, not that expert standing up there preaching at you. And one of the things that I know is frustrating for some people, and this has happened with some of my clients at first, is we get used to people just telling us, just do this. I want a quick answer. I want a quick fix. Give me the instructions and I'll get on with my life. But that's not how your health works. By the time you see symptoms of any kind of problem, that has been building in your body for a really long time. So to be able to unravel that and deconstruct it and reverse engineer what's happening, it takes a little bit more work than just throwing in a diet plan or throwing in an exercise program. And so it can be frustrating if you want a quick fix, but if you want health, and this is the big question you have to ask yourself, do you want to be healthy or do you want to be thin? Because those two things are not necessarily the same. As a matter of fact, I worked with a woman who everyone was envious of for her shape. She could eat whatever she wanted, and she was always thin and was able to wear, all these clothes that she wanted and never really had any trouble. But she ended up so severely diabetic because of the way she didn't take care of herself. She lost half of a leg and one foot. And it was a really tragic thing to see someone go down the hill so far when everybody thought, oh, but she looked so healthy. So take a moment to think about, what does health mean to you? How do you define it? What would you like it to mean to you? How do you envision yourself in the future as the healthiest, most vibrant state that you can be in? Because that's when you're going to live the life that means something to you. That's when you're going to feel amazing. That's when you're going to be unstoppable and turn into the badass that you are. So we're going to go and take a short break right now. But when we come back, we are going to talk about blind spots and the dimensions of health, and we will dive into those because that's a really fun thing to talk about. So in the meantime, I'm Juli Madacey, your host here on For the Health of It on the Inspired Choices Network, and we'll be back after this.
Do you know that health and vitality are your body's natural state of being? Is that what your life feels like? Or do you feel like that's more of a pipe dream than an achievable goal? If you're a woman over 40 experiencing those not-so-fun changes to your body, or lacking energy and worrying about the side effects of aging, wishing you could fit back into your clothes, it is time for you to learn how to change it all. When you tune into For the Health of It with Master Health Coach Juli Madacey, You'll learn how to regain your sense of badassery so you can navigate midlife like a boss. Listen to For the Health of It with Juli Madacey, Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, 9 Central Time, 8 Mountain Time, and 7 Pacific Time, and 4 p.m. in Italy on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is For the Health of It with Juli Madacey. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also send an email to julie@evexiahealth.com. That's JULI@EVEXIAHEALTH.com. And now, back to the program.
Hello and welcome back. This is For the Health of It, and I'm your host, Juli Madacey. We're here on the Inspired Choices Network, and today our topic is, what the heck is a health coach? And I love this topic because it came to my mind recently as I was talking with someone, and they said, what is it that you do? And I said, I'm a health coach. And they kind of got that glazed over look in their eye and just said, oh, that's nice, and went on about their way. Coaching is an industry that has exploded in recent times, and you can find a coach for just about everything. But there's still this belief with people that if I'm going to hire a coach, it means I have to be a professional at something, or I have to be some kind of an executive or elite athlete or something. No, you don't. And that's the beauty of it. I have a great network of other coaches. And one of the things I love about health coaching is that it's not competitive, at least not with the people in my network. It's not about, oh, I want to get all the clients and not you. It's about who can best serve these people to get them the outcome that they need and the health that they're after. And health coaches are great in that regard because we have this network. We're not experts in everything. People tend to specialize. Like you can look up a lawyer, for example, for services, but you're not going to hire a lawyer for all of the things. The same lawyer isn't going to do wills and trusts that does litigation. Those are very separate and specialized areas. And just like health, you have very separate and specialized areas. And so a lot of times people will say, well, I don't need a health coach, I have a doctor. Of course you need your doctor, and that's very important. But doctors are trained to diagnose an illness or a problem and then just prescribe the drug that's going to treat it or the therapy that's going to treat it. And most doctors, like you wouldn't go to a GP to have a heart transplant, right? So doctors are also going to specialize. Health coaches usually have an area that they have a specific expertise in. For example, mine is working with women going through perimenopause and menopause and postmenopause because I have a lot of education in that area and I've been through it myself. So between education and experience, I can help women navigate that because they don't have to go out and try to learn everything about it. They don't have to go out and try to do all the research. I have done all of that work. And so they can, I don't want to say shortcut the process, but they can get a big leap ahead by working with someone who already knows those things and is able to support them. And likewise, I have people in my network who are breathing and breath work coaches. I have people in my network who are trauma recovery coaches. I have people in my network who coach on a variety of different areas. And it's really important when you're looking to work with a professional to find someone who can actually help you with specifically what you're looking for. The other great thing about health coaching is that if you don't know specifically what you're looking for, that's okay, because most health coaches are going to be able to give you the guidance you need. As I said before, health coaching is about taking a holistic approach and a holistic view so that we take all of these things into account, because you are a whole person with a whole life. And throwing a diet plan in front of you is not going to solve the underlying problem that had you gaining weight in the first place. Sometimes it is an issue of learning certain skills. Sometimes it's an issue of being a little bit better educated on what healthy food is for you. Sometimes it's a matter of tuning into your body and learning to listen to what your body's telling you. Sometimes it's about learning how to think in a little bit different way. And mindset is an enormous underlying factor in most areas of health. Because we have these beliefs and these labels that we've given things. This is healthy, that's unhealthy, this is good, that's bad. And we don't really know. We don't know why we think those things. Most of the time it's because someone else told us they are, or because that's the latest advertisement that's going on, or that's the diet plan that someone else was on. And so understanding that we might have things to learn that we didn't realize we had to learn is really important. And I was referring before to blind spots, and that's something we all have. We can't possibly know all there is to know about everything. So blind spots aren't a bad thing, but being willing to say, I have some blind spots here, or I don't know what I'm missing, I need some help there, is a great place to get coaching. And I'll tell you a story about blind spots that really hit home for me when I was thinking about all of this. I am getting back into cycling. For years, I cycled 3,000 miles a year. I loved it. I lived it, breathed it. I had custom made bikes, top of the line equipment, and always cycled. I was a strong cyclist, except I couldn't climb hills. Every time I tried to climb a hill on my bike, I would get an asthma attack. And it frustrated me because I was strength training, I was doing other cardio work, I was working with a cycling coach, I was doing all of this work, and I could hold a pretty good pace. I could ride with the boys, the big boys, and hang on. And I couldn't climb hills. And it just frustrated me so much. And when I met my husband, he's from the UK, and where he grew up in Exeter, it's all hills. So when he learned to ride a bike, the only thing he knew was how to ride on hills. So I could blow him away on the flats, but he'd be waiting for me at the top with my inhaler every time we had to climb a hill. And it got very frustrating. So when we moved to Italy and we started living at the foothills of the Alps, I realized that cycling is just not going to be for me. It's a great country to cycle in. I now have 6 bikes of my own, and it seemed like such a waste, and it really broke my heart because it was something I enjoyed doing. But I knew from all the times I'd experienced that, I absolutely knew for sure that I would never be able to climb hills. A year ago, he started working on bikes. He loves to tinker, and he's an engineer. And so he decided to build a new bike for himself. And as he was getting into all these bike parts and putting things together, he started looking at my bikes a little more closely. And he said to me, "You have the wrong gears on your bike." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Those are gears for flat riding. They're not gears for climbing." I'm like, "What's the difference? I've got, 21 speeds or whatever it is on the bike. How can that not be enough?" So he bought a new set of gears for my bike, long story short, and said, "I want you to try this." And I begrudgingly agreed because I used to love it, but I was going to show him how it didn't make any difference. And because I knew I had all these years of experience and all the proof, right? So I went out on this ride with him, and I climbed the hill, and I didn't have an asthma attack. And I was not in any kind of shape like I used to be. And I still was able to do it. And all this time, my bikes were collecting dust. I wasn't doing something I love to do because I had the wrong gears and I didn't know. It was a huge blind spot for me. And it made me start thinking, where are our blind spots? What blind spots might you have that are keeping you from reaching your goals? Now, that's kind of a trick question, obviously, because they're blind spots, you don't see them. And that's where it helps to have someone from the outside who can take a more objective view and work with you and help you see where those blind spots might be so that you can find the solutions that have been missing. And a lot of times it's the simplest thing. It's seriously the simplest thing. But the truth is, what we don't know can hurt us. And so it's important to think about your health as a whole rather than, I'm going to do this diet again, I'm going to do this exercise program again, and think that's going to fix everything. And one of the other analogies I like to use is I used to work in the construction industry. I have a very varied background, but I ran a site office for a construction project. And during that time, I was watching how the blueprints and the plans, it was very huge, complex business and system. And I was watching all of this get put together. And I thought, wow, it's almost like assembling a prefab house or something. And then as we got further along, I realized every day something didn't work correctly. They had to regroup and change their plan. They had to revise things. They had to try something else. They had to change the whole system. And it took a lot of time and it took a lot of people, but that's part of the project, right? They had to lay the foundation, get the foundation really solid. And once they did that, then when things didn't go quite right further up the chain, they were able to take the time to review, revise, and rework things so that in the end, it came out to what they wanted it to be as an ultimate outcome. But it looked a little bit different than what it was going to be when they first started out. But because they laid that really solid foundation, they had lots of room to work with it. And I think our health is like that. A lot of people want to skip over the foundation because it's not glamorous. It's boring. It's all the stuff we have to do every single day. One of my favorite sayings, it's a Zen saying, it's after enlightenment, the laundry. And that is so true in every aspect of life. We have to master the fundamentals. Do you think Michael Jordan didn't master how to dribble the ball and shoot free throws before he became a pro basketball player? Do you know he kept doing those things after he became a pro basketball player? Most people don't have those fundamentals, that foundation in place, but they don't understand that they don't because they don't know what they don't know. So we're going to go to a break shortly, but I want you to think about where some of your blind spots might be. Where are you so rigid in your beliefs about the way you live your life, the way you envision health, the way you think it is supposed to be, that you might be actually preventing yourself from actively achieving it. When we come back, we are going to talk about habits, systems, behaviors, beliefs, superpowers, and how to find your cape. I'm Juli Madacey, the host of For the Health of It here on the Inspired Choices Network, and I can't wait to dive back in after the break.
Do you know that health and vitality are your body's natural state of being? Is that what your life feels like? Or do you feel like that's more of a pipe dream than an achievable goal? If you're a woman over 40 experiencing those not-so-fun changes to your body, or lacking energy and worrying about the side effects of aging, wishing you could fit back into your clothes, it is time for you to learn how to change it all. When you tune into For the Health of It with Master Health Coach Juli Madacey, you'll learn how to regain your sense of badassery so you can navigate midlife like a boss. Listen to For the Health of It with Juli Madacey Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, 9 Central Time, 8 Mountain Time, and 7 Pacific Time, and 4 p.m. in Italy on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is For the Health of It with Juli Madacey. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also send an email to julie@evexiahealth.com. That's JULI@EVEXIAHEALTH.com. And now, back to the program.
Hello and welcome back to For the Health of It. I'm Juli Madacey, your host, and today we are talking about what the heck is health coaching here on the Inspired Choices Network. I love this because it's what I do. Obviously, I'm a bit biased, but I don't think that makes it any less relevant. People don't understand how beneficial hiring and working with a professional can be, getting unstuck, being able to move forward and finally reach your goals. Look, when you want to learn a new language, you work with a language teacher. If you want your car serviced, you take it to a car mechanic. When you feel really ill or you break your leg, you go into the emergency room to get medical treatment. When you want to get healthy, a health coach is a great resource for you to learn what that actually means and what it involves. And I was talking before the break about how we all have blind spots, myself included. And when I first became certified as a holistic health practitioner and a holistic nutritionist, I had this mindset that, oh, I know all of these things and now my life is going to be amazingly healthy and fabulous. And of course, you have to practice certain things, but I had those blind spots again. I had the education behind me. I didn't necessarily have the ability to look objectively at my own life and my own habits and my own practices. And so things I thought were healthy weren't necessarily healthy for me. Things I was doing weren't necessarily supportive of what I needed at that point in my life. And I remember feeling really frustrated because I'd come such a long way after working with my holistic doctor. And then we moved to Italy and I just felt like everything went flat. And I thought, I'm certified as a holistic health practitioner. How can I not fix my own life? And Ian, my husband, Ian, actually said, it might be helpful to talk to somebody outside of your head for a while. And so I decided to actually hire a coach. When I started working with a coach, it was amazing. The small, simple, fundamental things I had been missing because we want to have this great sweeping change. We want to have this big project. We want to have this glorious result. And it's great if you want to go on a diet and lose some weight in the short term and people say, oh, don't you look fabulous and amazing? But you haven't learned what your body needs to maintain that progress that you made. You haven't learned how to do anything except focus on the superficial, look for that validation outside of yourself. And if your thinking isn't healthy, your body won't be healthy for very long. And it's so important to work from the inside out when it comes to your health. So I talked about my work in the construction industry and how laying that foundation is what matters. And so with health coaching, a lot of times what we do is we focus on the fundamentals because, to be honest, that's what most people struggle with. Even if you look at competitive athletes and you look at figure competitors and people who you think are quite elite and know all of this stuff because they have these actors and actresses, right? They don't necessarily understand the fundamentals. And I was a bit surprised because I have a client who also works in the health industry, and we had been coaching together for a while and started focusing in on protein because I finally understood that she really wasn't eating very much protein. And I'd asked her, how is your protein intake? And she said, oh, it's great. And I said, okay, great. Show me what it's like. What does a good day of protein look like to you? And in the end, it turned out she was getting very, very little protein in her diet. And when she was able to increase her protein, her energy changed, her mental clarity changed, her whole outlook, her ability to do her workouts changed, the progress she was making with her workouts changed. Simple thing. I know what protein is. But knowing and doing are often two very different things. And again, it's those blind spots that someone from outside can say, here, what about this? The other thing that's great about health coaching is we often overcomplicate our lives. We think it has to be complex. The diet industry, I know, here I go again, right? The diet industry has us believing that we need these special meal plans, we need these special products, we need these special approaches. And it's just not true. Most people need to understand the fundamentals of good, healthy living, which means not just the food that you eat, the way you manage your stress, the kind of sleep that you get, how much sleep you get, the ways that you rest and recover, the relationships you have, the way you handle stress and from a mental health perspective, the way you handle your emotions. So many of us have turned to eating emotionally to stuff down emotions that we don't want to feel, right? Never let them see you cry. And it's like this badge of honor that we carry because we're busy and we're stressed and we don't sleep very much and we're just toughing it through. And it just eats away little by little by little at that foundation of your healthy life. So again, with health coaching, we focus on all of those different areas because when you can make a change in one, that ripple effect carries over to the others in ways that you may not even imagine was possible. It does take support. A lot of us think that being independent and doing things on our own shows strength and it's better, but that's not true either. Because we can't possibly be experts at everything, because we can't possibly know everything, being able to find the right people to work with to support you is going to be key. And that is not just health related. That's true in pretty much every aspect of your life. And I have worked with people who don't necessarily have a good source of support at home or with their family members. And that's a tough situation to be in. And that's another reason why working with a coach can help you, because it does give you that source of support so that you can build yourself up to a point where you don't have to worry about other people not supporting you. Because really our best source of support comes from within. We just have to uncover it and discover it. When it comes to a healthy life, there are certain skills that we need. And we'll go back to food and exercise, even though those are just a piece of it, because that's what most of my clients come to me for, right? They want the weight loss. And I have to say, this is a little bit of a rant for me, so prepare yourself. But I heard yesterday, I read some reports about these drugs. There was a drug, I'm not going to name names, that was developed for type 2 diabetes. There are people who really need medical support for their type 2 diabetes because the ramifications of diabetes that's out of control can be very, very serious. And I'd seen them in people that I know. And they've discovered that one of the side effects of this drug is weight loss. And so then they took that element of the drug and created a bigger dose of it. And they're now selling it as an an injection-based medicine for weight loss. Now, I can go down a big rabbit hole with this, but suffice it to say that people are flocking to this, not only because they think it's going to be the panacea, the one hack they need to lose weight, but they're also creating a short supply of the medicine that people with type 2 diabetes actually need. And that's not a good thing. So we have to look again, we're going to look at the foundations. I'm going to leave you with that teaser because I want to really talk about this. It's very applicable to all the other aspects of health that we've been talking about. And when we come back, we'll talk about that. We're going to talk about your superpowers. We're going to talk about pulling back the curtain and finding what it is that you actually need and how your body's going to change as you age and how your needs are going to change as well. So I'm Juli Madacey, the host of For the Health of It here on the Inspired Choices Network, and I will talk to you again after the break.
Do you know that health and vitality are your body's natural state of being? Is that what your life feels like? Or do you feel like that's more of a pipe dream than an achievable goal? If you're a woman over 40 experiencing those not-so-fun changes to your body, or lacking energy and worrying about the side effects of aging, wishing you could fit back into your clothes, it is time for you to learn how to change it all. When you tune into For the Health of It with Master Health Coach Juli Madacey, you'll learn how to regain your sense of badassery so you can navigate midlife like a boss. Listen to For the Health of It with Juli Madacey Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, 9 Central Time, 8 Mountain Time, and 7 Pacific Time, and 4 p.m. in Italy on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. This is For the Health of It with Juli Madacey. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to julie@evexiahealth.com. That's JULI@EVEXIAHEALTH.com. And now, back to the program.
Hello and welcome back to For the Health of It. I'm your host, Juli Madacey, here on the Inspired Choices Network. And today we are talking about what the heck is health coaching. Now, before we went to the break, I started down this pathway about talking about this drug that people can inject that's supposed to be marketed now for weight loss. And I just have to get this off my chest. First of all, weight loss is a symptom. It is not the problem itself. If it were the problem itself, all of these diet programs and plans, all of these weight loss schemes that are going around would not have us with over 40% obesity in the US alone. It's a very sad state of affair, especially because 60 to 70%, the numbers vary depending on who you talk to, 60 to 70% of disease and medical issues in North America are lifestyle related. And that has a lot to do with the way we treat our bodies. So weight gain, unhealthy weight is a symptom, not the problem itself. And these drugs are looking to treat the symptom. Now, there are billions of dollars going into supporting these drugs. And on top of it all, the side effects, this just makes me so angry. There are companies like Noom and Weight Watchers who are investing in companies and creating companies that are going to allow them to sell these drugs to their clients instead of focusing on lifestyle behaviors and proper nutrition and learning how to manage stress and all of the fundamental things that are important. Noom has actually laid off hundreds of coaches because they want to invest in this Noom Med app where you're going to pay more money and then pay a load of money to buy the drug itself and not get the kind of coaching that you need to actually make the good changes in your life. And I won't even go into Weight Watchers, but it's infuriating. And I'll tell you, the symptoms, the regular everyday side effects of these drugs are nausea, vomiting, constipation, and diarrhea. So you're basically going to pay a boatload of money to get all of the symptoms of having an eating disorder. It's atrocious. It shouldn't be allowed. And the long-term consequences, and these have been rated high and severe when you look at drug reviews online, and they are pancreatitis, vision problems, thyroid cancer is a huge one. And most people who struggle with weight, there's a thyroid epidemic in our country that just isn't being properly recognized. So thyroid cancer is a big one. And suicidal behavior. If you have a predisposition for suicidal thinking and suicidal behaviors, I don't know about you, but I don't think that temporary weight loss is worth risking your life. And that is exactly what you do when you take these drugs. And you know what the worst part of it is, you go through all of this, you risk your health, you increase the probability of these things happening, and the weight loss is temporary because weight comes back on when you stop taking the drug. You haven't learned how to heal your body. You haven't learned how to support your health. You haven't learned the fundamental things to make your life better. You're treating a symptom. It's like putting duct tape on a broken window and expecting it to come back to whole. It just doesn't work. So with health coaching, we're going to look at all of the different aspects of your life, and you'll learn fundamental skills. You'll learn things like how to shop for healthy food. What is healthy food for your body? how to manage your time so that you can make time for the things you need to do to stay healthy. How is your sleep? Developing good sleep hygiene, because you actually burn the most fat while you're sleeping, oxidize the most fat while you're sleeping. And so sleep is a really critical piece of this. And if you aren't sleeping well, you are not going to be healthy in any other way, because you can't make up the sleep that you've lost. It's just not physically possible. And it affects your brain health and your brain aging. It affects so many other things. Sleep is fundamental, but nobody tells you that part. Also, stress management. Again, stress has been labeled the new smoking, right? Because it elevates those fight or flight hormones in your body. It throws things off kilter. It causes imbalances in your hormones. It causes fat deposition in places on your body where you don't want it. It slows down your digestion. It does all kinds of things. And so being able to work with these other skills so that you feel like you're doing things that will fundamentally change your health for the better, but in a long-term way. Once you learn these practices, once you learn how amazing you can feel when you do these small, simple steps, your life is going to change in dramatic ways. And a lot of times my clients are surprised at what a big difference these little tiny habits have made. I was blessed to have one client actually say she learned more from me in a few months than she did with all the programs and books she read over the last many years. It's because we're finding these blind spots, we're uncovering these blind spots, and we're learning building the foundation. We're learning the foundational things that are so important. You are a diamond in the rough. You have amazing qualities and capabilities that just need to be uncovered. And so when you get the proper support to do that, those things can come out and you can shine. You have superpowers. You may not believe that, but a good health coach is going to help you find them. Your superpowers may be that you're super organized. Great, we can put those to work to help manage your health and the way you practice your habits. You may be really creative. Awesome. You can come up with all kinds of new fun ideas for ways to get movement into your day, for ways to prepare healthy food, for ways to get better sleep. We can do these together because ultimately it's your journey. The health coach is there to guide you, not tell you what to do. We uncover those things together because it is your journey. At the end of the day, you have to be happy with where you are. You have to feel fulfilled. You have to feel like you're living a life of meaning. And a lot of the reason why some of these things get off kilter, out of whack, that's a technical term, by the way, is because we're not living in alignment with our values. And if you think about your fundamental values, do they line up with the way you're taking care of yourself? Do they line up with the image you have of who you are? Do you feel a sense of self-worth? Those are going to be really important factors in your ability to get healthy and stay healthy. And again, that's some of the work that we do. Doctors are well-meaning. They have their training, they want to help people, but there's so much pressure on them now with the medical system in the state that it is, and they don't have the time to spend with you. They don't have the time to get you to know you as a person like they used to. They don't have the time to really understand what is fundamentally happening in your life that might be causing the things that are going on with you. And sometimes people worry that hiring a health coach or any kind of coach really is going to be too expensive. First of all, it depends on what's a priority for you. Health coaching is not as expensive as you think. It's not my business to be in your wallet or your bank account. So I don't know where you're at financially, but I can tell you, if you show me how someone spends their money, I will tell you what's important to them. And the hard, uncomfortable truth is that unless you pay, you don't pay attention. And we have found that to be true over and over again. You are worth investing in yourself. You are worth investing in your health. You are an amazing human being, an elite human being, and coaches are not just for elite athletes. Coaches are for everyone. And it's a great way to get the support that you need. Let's uncover some of those blind spots. Let's work together. Let's find the person who fits with you, who you resonate with, who you're really happy to be around, who can make you happy to be around yourself. And then you'll want to take care of yourself in the way that's best for you. There's no one size fits all program. There's no one size fits all pattern or routine. I would love to invite you to get in touch with me. I would love to talk to you about your journey. I would love to understand where you're at and where you would like to go. And sometimes we're not really sure where we want to go, because sometimes we don't realize that we don't feel well until we start to feel better. And I know that from my personal experience, that was a big piece of my own journey. My doctor helped me uncover some of those things for myself. And when I started to feel better, I thought, holy cow, I didn't know this was possible. I didn't realize how bad I was feeling because I hadn't had the opportunity to feel really good in a really long time. A lot of times our health will deteriorate little by little by little. We start not sleeping very well, and that progresses into higher stress, and that progresses into not so good eating, because when you're sleep deprived, you tend to crave foods that aren't necessarily healthy for you, and that stresses you out, and you start to gain weight, and that stresses you out, and then work gets stressful, and then you start having issues with your family or your other relationships because you're unhappy. That energy carries outward. And that's why I say we have these 6 dimensions of deep health, and every one of them affects every other one of them. So let's get you healthy. Let's get you on the right track. Find someone you resonate with. And if you're interested in tapping into a great network of coaches, don't hesitate to reach out, because if I'm not the right person for you, I probably know somebody who is. We want you to be the best you can be. You can go on the internet, you can find all kinds of free stuff out there. And how do you know what information is good? How do you know what information applies to you? Oftentimes, out on that web, you get what you pay for. And sometimes even some of that information can be harmful, like these fly-by-night health coaches, like these fly-by-night organizations that are trying to sell you an injection to try to help you lose weight and making you think that's going to solve all of your problems. We have to look deeply at that person in the mirror. We have to decide we care about them and they are worthy of our efforts to keep them healthy and strong and to live a vibrant life they truly deserve to live and they truly want to live. And I would love to help you do that. Any health coach would love to help you do that. So don't hesitate to reach out. Remember, when you pay attention. So investing in your health is one of the best investments you can make. It will pay you back in multiples that you can't even begin to describe. Where are your blind spots? Who can help you find your blind spots? How is that foundation? How do you know it's really sturdy and strong? Would you like to feel vibrant and amazing? I don't know anybody who wouldn't. Let's learn the skills. Let's get the support. Let's get the ability to bring you the life that you deserve to have. Again, you can look for a number of different coaches. You can look to work with a registered dietitian. You can get a meal plan. You can do all of those things. Ultimately, it's your choice and it's your decision. But if your health, if your life isn't feeling joyful and vibrant and purposeful and meaningful the way you would like it to, then it's time to take a step back and decide, what is it that you need? And now that you know what the heck health coaching is, that might be something that could help you along your way. If you're interested in checking out, I've got a great 6-month program coming up, and you can go to buildabodyyoulove.com. I would love to see you there. Next week, next episode, we're going to talk all about conquering your cravings, because one of the big issues I talk a lot of people about is that they have a lot of cravings, they have issues with late night snacking, they want to get out of that habit of eating those things. And that is another symptom, again, that something is off balance. So Make sure you tune into that next episode about conquering cravings. I'm Juli Madacey, the host of For the Health of It here on the Inspired Choices Network, and I can't wait to talk to you in the next episode. Make sure you get in touch. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you for listening to For the Health of It with Juli Madacey, Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, 9 Central Time, 8 Mountain Time, and 7 Pacific Time at 4 p.m. in Italy on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. Until then, remember, you can build a body you love living in, one small step at a time.